The YouTube Gaming Video Guide is available now. Use this fantastic learning resource to learn everything you need to know about making YouTube videos, including how to capture your footage, 3D modeling, visual effects composition, video editing, commentary and audio recording, and more. There is a discount coupon in the description of this video, so grab your copy of the guide right now. How's it going, guys? It's the final render here, and welcome back to another episode of Fallout 4 Building with Mods, and this time we are back at the Museum of Freedom. We did part 1 of the Museum of Freedom build a very long time ago, probably over a month. It's taken a long time to get this one done, I know. And in that video, we went and restored everything to repaired pre-war versions of everything in the building, because I want to give the idea of what if the Minutemen tried to restore the Museum of Freedom. However, I actually put it out to you guys in the comment section about what to do next, because we have 2 stories worth of rooms to go ahead and restore. And I said, do you want to have a full museum restoration, or would you like to see a Minuteman HQ? Well, the comment section was about 50-50, so we're getting both. Let's go. So the idea is the first story is going to be a museum, and also the second story, and then the third story is going to be the Minuteman HQ. And of course the basement is already kind of HQ-esque, however that's already done. So, to start off with, we're going to have a very cool display of power armor and an APC. Because this museum isn't just about everything that went on during the Revolutionary War, which is probably what it is in real life, but it would also have all of the history that we haven't seen. Remember, Fallout 4 is set, 300 years after our current time? So a lot has happened in that time, which could be in this museum. Preferably all of the power armor and whatnot. So, here is the display. I actually did something very similar to this in the last Fallout 4 Building with Mods Halloween special, and I actually might do something like that again in the next Halloween special, which I do have planned. That'll be coming out in a few weeks, of course. And I really like this little display. It looks very good, looks very museum-y. I don't know how they got the APC in here. Maybe it's pretend, maybe it's made out of wood or something, but it's in there and it looks like a great part of the museum. And now we have, of course, a little display showing those brave, handsome, and courageous redcoats who are defending their museum. But of course, it's not really going to go down well in this museum. It's going to be a little bit of a destroyed part of the museum, what can I say? But as you can see, the courageous and brave redcoats are there, defending the Colonial Tap House, which is definitely their favourite place. They love their lager, and it is a nice part of the display. You can't have the museum without showing the British side. You know, you need to show who the bad guys were, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And now we're going to have a small little cinema display. Now, I wasn't too sure if I wanted to include this because I thought, well, how many movies would actually be sustained after the war? But then I thought, it doesn't necessarily have to be movies, does it? It could be anything, even just little photos and stuff like that. So any kind of pictures you want to show, or even just do like your own little display for like a training video or something like that, training exercise, you could probably do it here. The Minutemen could maybe have like a training exercise showing all the different kind of creatures you'll encounter in the wasteland, for example, and how to defeat them, and train their people here. But you can also use it as a museum to teach people history, which ultimately is the most important part, and I've been to museums where there have been little cinema displays like this, and it looks really, really nice in here. I've definitely kind of nailed the kind of cinema looking vibe, but still kind of kept it within the Fallout universe. It's still got the kind of Fallout posters on the wall and all the Fallout furniture, and everything's a bit broken, you know, like the screen isn't fully repaired and stuff, but it actually works as a functional cinema, and I think it's a really nice place where you can learn a good amount of the history of America. And now going into this area, we need a gift shop. It's a museum. Museums always have rubbish little gift shops. Well, to tell you the truth, most museums are actually non-profit, so they just basically need to cover their cost, and a gift shop is a good way to do that. You know, just buy a little rubbish keychain or some kids' toys, and then you can keep the museum going. And that's the idea for here as well. So we're going to have lots of little kids' toys and lots of things which we can shrink down, such as cars and alien spaceships and rocket ships and soldiers, everything that we can just shrink down to make it look like it's a toy that can be sold. And of course we've got lots of magazines, and we've even got some little arcade machines at the back, just to kind of give it a little bit more functionality and give it a little bit of life. This is a nice fun part. And of course we've also got a small amount of refreshments here, only a little bit of refreshments. We don't need to have too much sugar being spilt all over the displays, you know what I'm saying? But the idea of just getting a lot of the kind of static statues and just shrinking them down so that they look like toys is something which I really enjoy doing. And here we are with the gift shop fully done. Looks really, really nice, this part actually. It looks very small, but then again, museum gift shops typically aren't that exciting. Even the really good stuff in a gift shop is normally not very good. Well, I don't mean in terms of quality, but I just mean it's not something very useful, you know what I'm saying? It's just like a little memory. And I think this place really does nail the kind of vibe of it. All of this stuff is objects that you'll see in the loading screens of the game. You know, the kind of slowly rotating objects. And since, you know, they're not actually usable, I can just shrink them down. Even things like the alien blaster and stuff isn't actually an alien blaster. It's just a statue, so you can't pick it up and cheat in the game, you know what I'm saying? But I really like this addition to the museum. Works really, really well, and it feels lore friendly too. And now, of course, we're going on into the next room, and now I'm going to build a little school area inside the museum. Now, I remember when I was a child, a couple hundred years ago, I was actually taken to museums as school trips, and often they did have little classroom areas in there. Nothing too fancy, but just a little classroom area so that we could do little museum exercises, so to speak, where we could learn a bit more about the history. Maybe we would get spoken to by someone who works at the museum full time, you know, one of the curators, for example. And then we would learn a little bit about whatever topic it was. So it kind of makes sense to go out and have a little education area inside the museum. It's very small, but it actually does look very nice when it's all fully done. It actually looks a lot better than the one in Diamond City, if I'm completely honest, even if it is a bit smaller. But it just looks nice, you know. It feels like a nice warm place to go ahead and learn in safety. And here it is all done. In this case, I actually did go ahead and put a lot of rubbish on the floor because I thought, hey, kids have been around here and stuff, they're going to make a mess. Kids be kids, but I actually really like this place. It's got all the stuff you actually need to go ahead and teach people. It's got all the seating area and the chalkboard, along with some storage to go ahead and store away stationery, for example. So you can go ahead and make sure everyone has all the tools and equipment they need. And of course, they're already in the museum, so you're going to have plenty of things to use as examples. We've even got a little area for the teacher to sit and work so they can keep an eye on the kids and teach everyone about the importance of how to build important settlements. I'm sure Preston Garvey is the headmaster. And now it is time to focus on the HQ part of the Minuteman HQ. Now the HQ is going to be on the 3rd floor, which is only accessible by one stairwell, which has been blocked off by 2 sets of jail doors, so you can only get in here if you have permission to get in here. And it's time to actually start building the planning section of the Minuteman base. This HQ is not a military base. It is not a place to defend, so to speak. It is just a planning and research area for the Minutemen. So, of course, I need a big map. And unfortunately, they don't really have maps of just the Boston area. They've only got the world map. So I've got the world map here. But it does kind of make sense in a way. If the Minutemen get information on what's going on in the entire world, I'm sure they'd want to know that as well. So they can kind of keep an idea in their heads about what's actually happening in the entire world. And I've got this huge map, which is kind of like a huge table. The idea was kind of give like that kind of war room feeling that you would see in like World War II, for example. When you see those people kind of pushing those little displays with what look like garden hose out onto certain parts of the country, you know? To kind of mark enemy positions. That's the kind of feeling I was going for. And of course I actually found a static model of the USS Constitution. So I thought, why not shrink it down and put lots of pots and little paints and stuff like that, as if someone is making a display for the museum to go downstairs. I think that's kind of cool, you know, just kind of shrink that down, because that would be an important part of Boston, wouldn't it? It's like at one point there was a flying 17th century naval frigate here. But hey, here we go with the place done. As you can see, purely about kind of planning and researching and keeping an eye on what's going on in the Commonwealth and the world. There are some weapons in here so that they can defend themselves should they need to, but I very much doubt anyone would make it to the 3rd floor untainted, so to speak. They're definitely going to get hurt, and I really like the look of it. It definitely feels, it's not really high tech like the Institute or the Brotherhood of Steel. It's very much writing things on bits of paper and, you know, just kind of working with word of mouth. It feels very run down and very simple. So it's very similar to kind of like what the railroad would be, I suppose. You know, it's just very much about word of mouth and writing things down on paper rather than high-tech equipment. And now we need a little sleeping area, of course. Now the sleeping area, as I said, this isn't a huge military base. This is just a planning area, so you'd probably only have like, what, maybe 10, 20 people living here at any one time, and maybe some guards as well. So we just need a small amount of sleeping area. Go ahead and put these bunk beds around. Now I believe I did this with the huge Pridwin overhaul, which I did for the Brotherhood of Steel. Go ahead and put lots of bunk beds around. And then once you have got the bunk beds, of course, everyone needs some storage. So you go ahead and put some of these duffel bags on each bed. You know, it's kind of like got a military look. And the Minutemen, whilst this isn't a base, do have a very military-esque kind of mindset. You know, they are kind of based on fighting and military maneuvers. So I think every little bed would have its own little duffel bag where everyone keeps their equipment. And here we go. I also tried to make it look a little bit nice, I tried to make it kind of feel like a living area, but primarily it is just a place to sleep. It's all about efficiency, it's like you work in the museum and the planning area, and you sleep in here. But there are like some tables and like little bits of crockery and stuff like that, so people can kind of chill out and relax here in the evenings, because we're not going to be working 24/7. No one can work 24/7. So, little nice area to go ahead and sleep and rest right there for the Minutemen. And of course, we also need a shower area. If I've got sleeping area, I also need a place which has toilets and showers so people can live effectively. And I went ahead and actually raised the floor slightly, and so that I actually have a little lip so that I can have showers in here without water going everywhere. All the water will stay in this kind of slightly lower area, and I think that works really well. We got some sinks on display, and we got some mirrors along with some showers, and the thing is that I didn't want to have too many. I wanted it to still feel kind of spacious, but also have everything they needed. So you got 2 showers, and you've also got 2 sets of toilets as well. It's not much, but I don't have much room for this area, unfortunately. And of course, since I've only got the one room, everything has got to be unisex, so therefore the toilets are divided off into stools. I don't just have toilets sitting around, people actually need their privacy, so they've got stools. And of course, go ahead and put up the lighting. For the entire building, I used all these kind of fancy lights here, and they look really, really special, along with the ceiling fans. Again, they look great and really suit the aesthetic of the place. And here we go with the toilets fully done. Okay, it's not much, it's not simple, it's got some very unimmersive toilet paper, but the place looks really, really nice indeed. As you can see, the showers have all got their curtains, and they've got everything they need, including bars of soap and privacy access, along with the sinks, mirrors, and of course the toilets, so everyone can get their own little privacy when they're using the shower area. And there we go. That is the Minuteman HQ and Museum fully done. I know it's taken a very long time, guys. I've got to admit it, there's been lots of procrastinating with this because it was very hard to come up with decent ideas, but I hope you've enjoyed this. We've got a really cool school which looks really, really good and really fits the aesthetic. We've got a fantastic gift shop which can sell all the toys and memorabilia that you would associate with the Minutemen and America, so that you can go ahead and have a really good time bringing back those memories from the museum. And of course, we've got this cool cinema area, which can also be used as a kind of general education area, maybe a rehab of some kind where people can get together. We have an awesome display of the brave and courageous and smart redcoats right there, and we have a little display for the power armor as well. Again, it feels very cool, it looks very cool, and it's an exciting thing to go ahead and see in the museum, even though you'd probably see them out on the roads everywhere. And of course, we have the headquarters section. You can only get in here if you have permission, and this is where the Minutemen will plan all of their operations inside America, and maybe one day plan to go overseas. Who knows, there's plenty of opportunity in the future for expansion. And I really like the idea that it's all very simple, as I keep saying. It's not high tech like the Brotherhood of Steel, it's all very low key. And we've got a really nice sleeping area. Again, it's kind of like a little dormitory, and it's got some little home values and stuff in there, some nice places to relax, but it's mostly just for sleeping. And of course, this is actually, I think, probably the nicest toilet area I have ever made inside Fallout 4, so I'm very happy about that. There's something about the lighting and the brickwork and stuff. It looks really, really nice, and I really like it. So guys, I really hope you've enjoyed watching this entire build. I think it's something pretty special. And of course, the elephant in the room, people. What about the hidden area that is blocked off by Bethesda? Well guys, I'm going to be honest, I actually did restore it. It is here as you can see it, but there's really nothing there for a start, and it is very, very glitchy. It is so glitchy, I don't actually know how to fix it with my current expertise. So maybe one day I will open up those doors, I will make it so that the doors can be opened by you guys, but until then, it's just going to have to remain dormant for a while. And sometimes the best things should be left till later. Oh yes, and of course this is available for download on PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. I was able to test it on PlayStation 4. In the main room, it is laggy. I am not going to lie to you guys, but it does work on PC and PlayStation 4 for definite. And of course, it works with the quest when you initially come here. It doesn't conflict with that in any way whatsoever. And I hope you enjoy the mod. So guys, thank you very much for watching this video. It's been a very long time for this part, I know, but it's been a good one. I think we've done a really good job here, The original Museum of Freedom, it feels very, very tiny, but now when you walk around it, you'll see when you download it yourself, the place feels enormous now. Not only that, but it looks really, really good, and every room kind of has a purpose now. It's not just an empty room with lots of rubbish in it. There is some part of the museum that is restored there. So guys, Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure you like and subscribe. Check out all the cool Patreon people in the description below. Remember to buy one of my new e-learning courses if you enjoyed the video. And I'll see you next time. This has been the final render, and you've been the audience. The YouTube Gaming Video Guide is available now. Use this fantastic learning resource to learn everything you need to know about making high quality YouTube gaming videos. This online video course on Udemy currently has over 6.5 hours worth of video content to teach you everything you need to know about how to make fantastic YouTube gaming videos, including how to capture your content, how to edit your content, how to record your audio and commentary tracks, how to create fantastic thumbnails and animations used in visual effects composition and 3D modeling, as well as some film theory and film history. You will also learn how to use some of the best equipment on the market and some of the best editing software on the market, so you can always be up to date with the latest trends and technologies. There is a fantastic discount coupon available to you. Use the coupon code GOOGLE to get a huge discount when you go to buy the course. So what are you waiting for? Learn how to make the best YouTube gaming videos right now. Here we are inside the Museum of Freedom, people. The Museum of Freedom is obviously a very important part of the Fallout 4 universe, and of course it is a very important part of Boston. The Museum of Freedom is an icon for everything that occurred in Boston during the American War of Independence, and it really has got an awful lot of history in